Yeah, thanks for joining me at 9:30 for our devotions. This week is week 2 of our looking into this idea that we are not to fear. So let's go ahead, let's find the Gospel of John chapter 14. And as you turn there, just really quick review. Fear is found 365 times in the Bible. Do not fear is found 365 times in the Bible. And that gives us one truth or one promise each day of the year to remind ourselves to trust in the Lord. Remember, fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something dangerous is likely to cause us pain or is a threat to us. John chapter 14, we're going to be in today. So I have a question for you. It's about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks from Christmas, and maybe you have done your shopping. I heard yesterday on the radio that something like half of America has already done their shopping, and it was done by the end of October. And we're waiting for the packages to arrive, and we're very quickly relying on UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service. Some of you are last minute shoppers and will go out Christmas Eve and try to find that perfect gift because you want to go to the store and find it, touch it, feel it, and then purchase it and bring it back. Whichever way you are, the question I have for you is, what present are you hoping is under the tree this year? If you were to ask a child, they would probably rattle off the most popular gift that can't be found in the store. And there's not a possible way to get it here before Christmas because it's found on eBay and it's probably 100 times more expensive than the normal asking price. I can go back to my childhood. Whenever I was a kid, it was the Tickle Me Elmo. You remember the Tickle Me Elmo? You push its belly and it would laugh. That thing went off the shelf and you couldn't find it unless you were willing to pay hundreds of dollars for that special gift. Well, what gift are you really hoping for this Christmas? Would it be fair to say that you hope that this gift that you were getting would be priceless? What about the gift that you would get, the gift of peace? So many of us are having angst and earnestness over this season and for understood reasons. But what if we could get the gift of peace this year? What would you be willing to pay for that piece? What would you be willing to give? How much would you be willing to spend? Would you be willing to expedite that gift of peace so that you could unwrap that on Christmas morning? But this morning, I want to challenge us and remind us that today it's not about a gift of peace that we can purchase. It was a gift that is freely given to us. All we need to do is accept it. Let's go ahead and look at John chapter 14, particularly in verse 27. Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and he says it this way. He says, I'm leaving you with a gift. Hey, that sounds good. I like gifts, and you like gifts. Gifts usually don't cost us anything. It's just something that we need to receive. I'm giving you a gift, the peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. All right, let's look into understanding what Jesus is saying now that we're interested in a gift because it's almost Christmas time. You see, what is Jesus promising and what is he not promising? Jesus is not promising the absence of a storm. He's not promising the presence or the absence of difficult times. What is Jesus promising? Well, first of all, before we get into that, remind yourself that Jesus, the Son of God, he faced tough times. Remember, Jesus had 12 disciples. 10 out of the 12 disciples, which we now call apostles, they died a martyr's death. All right, Judas was the one that went out and hung himself after he betrayed Christ. And we believe and know that John the apostle, he did not face a martyr's death. He was the only apostle that died a natural death or a natural cause of death. The other 10, they all died horrific deaths. We studied that back in March or April. So Jesus is not promising his disciples it's going to be smooth riding, what we would call the prosperity gospel. Jesus is not promising that there won't be storms. So what is he promising? Jesus is promising peace in the middle of the storm. This peace comes from the ministry of God's Holy Spirit in your life. We believe that the Holy Spirit, He is a comforter, He is a guide, and He is the distributor of peace. I could take you to John 14 that we're in, 15 and 16. From yesterday, we looked at Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. The peace of God will come into your life, and it comes through prayer. It comes through trusting in the Lord. It comes through reminding yourself of the faithfulness of God. So, what's happening in the immediate context? What's coming next for the disciples that Jesus is talking about in John chapter 14, 15, and 16? Well, next, Jesus is going to have his trial, and he's going to be crucified. But Jesus is saying that when it's coming, Jesus is to remind them as it comes, do not be fearful. Or in other words, have peace. In the midst of the storm, remind yourself that God is still in control. Jesus knew that his crucifixion was coming. He's told them that in Luke 19. He's told him that from the beginning of his ministry. That's the purpose that he came. He came to seek and to save that which was lost, Luke 19. But you see here, the disciples, they didn't understand. They couldn't quite put their head around the storm that's coming. Jesus sees the storm coming. He knows it's coming. He knows what's going to happen. And he looks at them and he says, I'm giving you a gift of peace of mind and of heart. Not that there won't be troubles, that when you go through the difficult times, you can know that God is still in control, that God has a plan. God's plans don't always match up with my plans. I have learned that in 2020. And don't misunderstand, I just want to learn this and then move on so I can learn, yes, God is in control. It's not my plan, but God continues to remind me that he is in control. It's not my will. It needs to be his will that's done. It's his desire that needs to be accomplished, not mine. But as I walk through the storms or as I walk through times of unknowing, I can still know that there is a peace of heart and mind that comes from Christ. So let's apply it in the next 30 seconds. This year, instead of focusing on the giving of the perfect gift, what does that person want? What do they need? How can I get it here in time? Why not focus on you receiving the perfect gift? The gift of peace for your heart and your mind. You see, this gift, it can't be bought. It can only be received. And it's given by Jesus. And you can get this peace when you begin your relationship with him. This is week 2 of Advent. It's a focus on peace. Why not begin a relationship with Christ and experience the peace? One time I saw a bumper sticker. It said it this way: no Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, no peace. No Jesus, N-O. No Jesus in your life, you'll have no N-O peace. But if you know Jesus, K-N-O-W, then you'll know peace, K-N-O-W, peace. How about you? Do you know Jesus, no peace? Or do you know Jesus, then you'll know peace. If I can help you in any way, I trust you'll reach out. Have a great Tuesday, and I trust that we will be people of faith over fear. Have a great day.